Habarigani, what's the news? Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your girl, Sunsetnwaves, and today I'm coming at you to discuss Kwanzaa. Why Kwanzaa? Because recently Carter and myself celebrated the holiday for the first time, and I really wanted to share a recap. Although I did share small videos on my Instagram, I felt like this would be a great way to tie our celebrations and, really explain the holiday, because I know that people have a lot of questions in regards to Kwanzaa. So the first thing I said is Habarigani. Habarigani is like the Merry Christmas of Kwanzaa. Even though Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday, it's a cultural holiday. Habarigani is what's the news. And when somebody says Habarigani, you would say the principle of the day. Kwanzaa has 7 principles that are also represented by 7 candles in their candelabra, which they call a kinara. A kinara looks like this. And this kinara is the big reason as to why Carter and myself celebrated. It was gifted to me, hand down, from a coworker whose family partakes in Kwanzaa celebrations. They seem to really enjoy the holiday. He gave it to me. He said, do it next year. And I said, I will, and I did, and we loved it. Thank you, Donald Somerville. I really appreciate this gift, and we will cherish it. So we did use this kinara, and this is the big reason as to why me and Carter celebrated this year. So again, with Kwanzaa, you have 7 principles, 7 candles. Principles are Umoja, which means unity. Kujijakalia, which is a childhood favorite, just because of the way it sounds. Kujijakalia, all right? So Kwanzaa takes all of its language from the Swahili language. So that's a fun fact about Kwanzaa. Everything is in Swahili. Kwanzaa means first fruits, and you're going to say Umoja, unity. Kujijakalia, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kumba, creativity. Imani, faith and responsibility. Those are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. All right, so moving on. Also, Kwanzaa's candles colors, okay? So you have a black candle that's in the center, and that represents the people. Then you have 3 red candles, which represents the struggle and the blood of the people. And then you have 3 green candles on the other side, which represents the land and the hope of the people. Okay, so that's just a fun fact about the colors. And the colors take from the Pan-African flag, which we all know was modeled after the works of Marcus Garvey. Okay, so it definitely takes from different things and, to make this holiday. Again, this holiday was created in 1966 by Dr. Karenga. Now, when you do research on Kwanzaa, you will find a lot of controversial things about Dr. Karenga, and he was convicted of these crimes, and it doesn't seem like he was the best man and or a good man, in fact. However, the holiday itself and the essence of the holiday is good, and so we proceeded to celebrate. But if you do your research, I do want to let you know that it doesn't take much to realize that this man wasn't the best dude. We celebrated it because outside of who he is personally, the holiday and the essence of the holiday in regards to the principles are really great. And, you really don't have to talk about Dr. Karenga during the holiday at all, unless somebody asks who created the holiday. The foundation of the holiday is his idea. However, the essence on how you celebrate it, you make it your own. I think the principles are really great, really cultural fun for the family. And it really makes you start, doing some research and, really talking about the principles and who you feel in your family, present or past, has really adapted to the principles that are mentioned in Kwanzaa, which I love that about it. So Kwanzaa also ends with a feast. So there is food at the end of Kwanzaa, and, a gathering that can consist of music, dance, gifts. So the gifts in Kwanzaa do need to be educational, or they need to be homemade or Black owned. So it's really about putting money back into the Black community. So you can buy like a Black owned, you know, something and give it to someone, or you can make something and give it to someone. So it's that type of gift. It does have an organic feel to it. And feast, okay, which is perfect because New Year's is right there and people do a feast for New Year's, all right? You're going to have your black eyed peas and your collard greens, right? So people already are full packed with traditions throughout this season, and because of Kwanzaa, it kind of has an essence of which you can make it your own. So let's talk about getting started with Kwanzaa. I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of videos. I had the Kinara, and I'm going to talk about some other things that you might need if you want to do Kwanzaa, okay? So you are supposed to have a unity cup. Unfortunately, usually the Kinara set comes with a unity cup, but when it was gifted to me, I wasn't given the unity cup. So we use this vase. However, I did find some unity cups online, and I'm thinking about getting one engraved for Carter. So I'm going to order one online, and I think that that's going to really be nice. So usually the unity cup is wood, and it resembles pretty much a goblet. So it looks like a goblet. It looks like, you know, a wine glass, a wooden wine glass. So we use this as our unity cup. So what's about the unity cup? So with the unity cup, you can pour libations. So I had a bowl. So this is a bowl I already had, and we use this to pour libations. And pretty much that's giving reverence to the ancestor that, you know, you're mentioning in regards to the principle. So for example, with creativity, we poured libations for Michael Jackson because it don't get no more creative than that. All right. Ashe. All right. So Ashe is almost like, you know, you're saying, I don't know. Ashe is like the amen, I guess. I might have to do a little more research in Ashe, but I think it's like, you know, like, yeah, like I feel that, or we see you. I'm going to go with that. That might be wrong though, but I'm going to go with that. And then a lot of people also have the Pan-African flag. Because we laid it flat on the table, I did take the stick off of mine because I just thought that it was easier to lay on the table without like the wobbly stick underneath the candelabra. So this is the Pan-African flag. Some people call it the African-American flag, but this is the Pan-African flag, and this is what we used. Also should have a straw placemat. So I have these bamboo placemats that I have, and so we put this underneath our Kinara, and so you kind of work with what you have. I already had these in the house, so this was perfect. And the flag I had, because, you know, when I did marching, I had that flag when I participated in Black Lives Matter marches. So you get those. We decided to start off with Lift Every Voice and Sing. So I saw a video on YouTube, not that that's a Kwanzaa requirement, but I saw a video on YouTube and they sang Lift Every Voice and Sing for their Kwanzaa celebration. And Lift Every Voice and Sing is the African American national anthem. And of course, I want Carter to learn it. So I felt like, wow, if we incorporate this into our Kwanzaa celebration, he'll hear this song every year. Okay, and you know, that's a guarantee. And so I started off every night singing a portion of the song. So Carter really enjoyed that. One night he looked at me and said, "Mommy, I love this song." And that really warms my heart because growing up again in a Black community, shout out to Mount Vernon, New York, in school, we learned that in school. We did assemblies and we had to sing that at assemblies. And I know that, you know, Carter, he won't have that experience because we don't live in a predominantly Black neighborhood. And I'm sure they're not singing that just because in this area. So I don't think that if I don't teach it to him, Carter might never hear it, which is, to me, growing up, it was something that was pretty much very consistent at any type of Black event, Martin Luther King Day, assemblies at school. So we sang Lift Every Voice and Sing all the time. But, you know, kids today, you know, depending on where they live, you know, that might not really hear that song. So Carter really enjoyed it. He also enjoyed us doing the research of the ancestors that we were going to pick. And we did do family members as well as, non-family, because we really wanted to focus on somebody who we felt really walked into that principle. So for example, for Imani means faith, we did my Uncle Teddy, who is a bishop, who was a bishop, and he exercised faith in an amazing way. And we really wanted to give honor to that. So we poured libations for him, and he died when I was in my early teens. So one thing about Kwanzaa, which I like, is if you focus on a family member, it gets you to tell your child about that family member who they've never met. So Carter actually knows now who Uncle Teddy is because of Kwanzaa and because we spoke him up. So that's another thing that I really enjoyed about the holiday, is giving your child some information in regards to the ancestors that came before them that they might have never met or had a chance to know, or really people don't, you know, talk about on a regular basis within the household. Also, other leaders. So John Lewis, Carter, you know, he doesn't know who John Lewis is. And, you know, schools, they pretty much keep their focus on Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King. So Carter learning about John Lewis, he started crying. You know, and Chadwick Boseman, he started crying when he was learning about, like, how Chad died. Like, he knew Black Panther passed away, but he didn't know, like, what from. And, you know, he just, like, learning more. You know, he picks Black Panther because he knew he had passed. What did he pick Black Panther for? I think he picks Black Panther for purpose. And he picked him for purpose because he knew he passed, and he knew the purpose of the movie and how African culture was so celebrated. So Carter already had that. But, you know, learning about colon cancer, you know, that was a conversation to be had. And so Carter was really touched by that. Or John Lewis. And Carter was like, oh, we giving it to a good guy. Like, he had his skull broke. He learned about Bloody Sunday. He learned about the marches on Selma. So that's one thing that I really enjoyed about the holidays. It really exposed my son to our history and our culture. Also, the food. So I did have my mom and my dad over for the last night. Of course, we are in COVID. I'm not going to have a packed house for the Kwanzaa celebration because numbers are raising again, and ain't nobody got time for that in the new year. I had my mom and my dad come over, and we feasted. So I made red rice. I tried to make food that was almost an extension of Africa. So that, you know, and not that soul food isn't, because of course it is, but soul food a lot of times, you know, to me is, you know, it's something that we just, it's our go-to. When you think Black, you think baked macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, you think collard greens and ham hocks. Like, it's our go-to. And there's a whole bunch of other Black dishes that are kind of ignored. So one of the things I made was I made some red rice. And I also wanted to lean more on the healthy side because we are celebrating harvest and health and Black culture. So I did red rice, which is an extension actually of jollof rice, right? So shout out to my Nigerians and Ghanaians. I know you guys have your little battle about whose jollof is the best. I'm not getting to that. My family's from South Carolina. We do the red rice, and that's really an extension of jollof rice. So I made red rice. I also made cabbage because I love cabbage. I did put meat in my cabbage. I made cabbage. I also made, my mom calls it her gumbo. It doesn't really have a root to it, but it is tomato based, and we put shrimp and spiced sausage in there. So I made gumbo. I put shrimp, spiced sausage. I put corn in there. So we really enjoyed that, and they ate that down. I made a pescatarian option for my father because he does not eat meat. So his cabbage didn't have meat in it, nor did his gumbo. What else did I make? We had yams, right? Because also with Kwanzaa, you have a basket. And we didn't eat everything in our basket yet, but we have a basket because it's a celebration of harvest. So during that time on your Kwanzaa table, you would have a basket of fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. I did buy sorrel because I thought sorrel would be such a nice, because again, we're celebrating the African diaspora. So that means even Caribbean celebration, okay? So I did buy sorrel, but Baby, I love sorrel, but that takes 2 days to make. I didn't know it had to sit and seep. That ain't nothing like what I thought it was. I thought, you know, we just making some hibiscus tea. We're going to cool it and put some ginger in it. No, sorrel is, shout out to everybody making that good sorrel, because from what I watched on YouTube, sorrel is not the easiest thing to make. That takes time, okay? You're going to pay to have that good drink. That's why it's probably so expensive in the stores when some people make it homemade, because sorrel takes time. So I was going to try to make that, but when I saw the YouTube videos, I was like, oh no, this is above me. So I didn't make the sorrel. But I did find, you know, some different things like wine, and it's called Black Girl Magic, okay, by the McBride sisters. So with Kwanzaa, again, you want to celebrate the Black owned. Okay, so you want to give your people that coin. Also, one of the things that I decided to do during Kwanzaa was try to every day at work, even at home, during this time of Kwanzaa, I try to wear African prints. I wanted my visuals to be a representation of my holiday celebration. I wanted people to ask me, why you got all this African print this week? And, you know, me to say, oh, I'm celebrating Kwanzaa, and to kind of spark conversation. So I also did Kwanzaa celebration at my job, because I do work at a community center in which we encounter with children. And so because there's kids there, I wanted them to learn about Kwanzaa as well. So them seeing me dress up too was a lot of fun for them as well. So I did wear African print, with the exception, I think, of 2 days. I tried my best, but I did wear African print for the majority of the holiday week. Anything else? Also, I did mention the unity cup, and I mentioned it in the sense of pouring libations for our ancestors, but also you can kind of sip, and there's a word you say when you sip. I can't think of it right now, but you can sip and acknowledge somebody who's living as well, which I wanted to do during the last celebration, but because it was getting so late, we just feasted and we just honored the ancestor of that night. But I wanted to kind of have everybody go around the table and say, you know, how they felt that they were exercising in a principle, or who they felt in the family exercising the principle that's actually alive. So next year, I'm definitely going to incorporate that into my Kwanzaa celebration. I'm trying to think. Carter, you know, in the beginning, Carter was like, what are we doing, mommy? What is Habarigani? But towards the second day, once he found out there was a kid in the program that I work at and Carter attends, that celebrated, and that really gave Carter buy-in. So he became really excited, and it has a lot of call and responses that are fun for kids. So Habarigani, that's a fun thing to say to it for a child. So, you know, waking up and say Habarigani, and he'll be like, Nia. And I said, what's the news? Nia means purpose. And, you know, having kids, when I come in, Habarigani, and them telling me, Kuji Jakalia, what's the news? And they'll say self-determination. It was fun. It was enjoying. And so, yeah, like it was really fun. And also you have Muhandi, which is corn. So corn should be on the table to represent the children in the household and the children in community. So for example, on my table, I had 2 pieces of corn. I had one to represent the children in the community, and then I had one to represent Carter. So if you have a home with 5 kids, you would have 6 pieces of corn. 5 for the kids in the house and 1 for the kids in the community. So let me show you. I didn't buy corn because I had canned corn, and I wasn't going to buy more corn if I know I have canned corn in the house. I have a lot of canned corn in the house, and I was like, I ain't buying no extra corn. But I'm going to show you what I did. Because usually on the table, you would have ears of corn. So I didn't buy ears of corn, but what we did do is we made our own Muhandi. So this is supposed to be like the Mexican corn, you know, the corn with the different colors on it. So we got pipe cleaners and we spreaded them out, and then we made Muhandi. This was an arts and crafts project I had the kids do at my job. They really enjoyed that. And then this is what I love is it incorporates Kwanzaa because it's handmade, okay? So you can give this as a gift, and it looks really nice on our table, right? It gives the essence of that corn, and it's something that we can use on the years to come, and we can make for other people to use in their house if they want to do Kwanzaa. And so I really enjoyed making these, and I thought it was cute and fun. So that was one of the projects that we did. And the Unity Cup is going to be Carter's gift from me for Kwanzaa, something that he can have and then he can give to his family when they celebrate Kwanzaa, and we keep the tradition going. I know this might be a long video, but I really hope that you enjoyed the essence behind it. And I hope that it explains some things about Kwanzaa. Again, just dive into it if it's something you're interested in. There's no wrong way. I will say candle lighting, I know that there's some confusion. It seems like you can look online and people are lighting their candles any kind of way. However, I will say this. From my research, what I know is that Umoja, the unity candle, which is the black candle, which black represents the people, that candle gets lit first. Then you go to the red candle, which is Kujijakalia would be second. Now you can go the red candle furthest away from the black candle or the red candle right next to the black candle. Then the next day you would go to a green candle and you alternate between the red and green, the red and green, the red and green. Whether you do it from the farthest candles and work your way up to the middle candle, which is what we did, or you go directly from the black candle first and go to the alternative red and green candles that are nearest to the black candle. That's your decision. However, you do not light them in a row. And I know that some people are doing that, but if you do research, that is an incorrect way to light your candles. And you will see that a lot of people light it that way. However, if you do your research, that's not how it's intended to be lit. So it's intended to be lit with the black in the middle, and then you alternate between the red and the green. So I hope that's helpful, because that candle lighting, woo child, okay? People doing it all kind of way. I read that you do the furthest, so that's what we did, and I'm going to stick to that. But yeah, so that was our Kwanzaa celebration. I hope that this answered any questions you had about the holiday. And of course, you can make it your own. Have friends and family over doing your festive feast on New Year's. And you know what I loved about that is, like, New Year's, sometimes it's just me and Carter in the home. But this actually gave us something to do before the ball drop. We had our Kwanzaa celebration. And, you know, then the next day we had, you know, our food and we had a celebration. We had people over. So this really gave us like something to do for New Year's, because I'm not somebody who wants to club and party and do that, you know, type of thing. And, you know, just sitting and watching, you know, the stuff on TV, sometimes that gets really mundane. And it's just like, all right, like, I see this person perform. Okay. Like they're out there in Times Square screaming their heads off. I mean, you can't watch that for hours, you know, and just eat junk food. So this kind of gave us something to do to bring in the new year as well. Like, we were leading up to it and how we're going to really take these principles on for the new year. So I really think that that was really nice for us. And it was a nice change for our new year. And it's definitely something that I'm going to continue to do for the years to come. So that's my spiel on Kwanzaa. I hope you enjoyed our video. And I hope you enjoyed this video that I'm about to post. But the videos on Instagram got such positive feedback. So thank you guys so much for really enjoying our celebration with us. We got Happy Kwanzaa in the comments of some of our videos, which was really nice to see. And Carter reads them as well. And we really love posting them for you. And Carter loves it. It's really educational for your child. So yeah, so celebrate Kwanzaa. Let me know what you think. You enjoyed it. And yeah, happy Kwanzaa and Happy New Year. Bye.